Golly, that's good.
I cracked myself up. I still haven't found my first Blantons. That's different. I really like that.
They're like together, like peas and carrots.
That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peychauds or Pechaud's or Pechaud. This is not what I expected. And here we are. Hello. It is Groundhog's Day. And you know what that means. If you listen to the Bill, or you watch the Bill Murray movie, the same kind of thing happens over and over and over again. Well, that's kind of what we're going to do, is we're going to go back and revisit the past, just like Bill Murray did in Groundhog Day. And we're going to kind of visit some of the bourbons that we've had in the past that I said I was going to come back to and haven't. So tonight's tonight. No Pharrells, no big deal. Just real quick, going to go through some of these and see what I think after they've been sitting for a while. And the first one is going to be this one, the Stranahans. This is a single malt out of Colorado. This one is, we're going to start kind of small. 47% alcohol. So what is that, 94%, 94 proof? Is that about right? Is my mat good? Am I matting? We are pre-recording this because I am not in town right now. But somebody said, you know what, if you can't be there, least you could do is pre-record one. So we gave it a try last week to see how well that was going to work out, and it didn't work out so well, so fingers crossed that this one's going to work. We will be not playing this one as a regular Bourbcast if I can find a way to do a Bourbcast where I am currently. We'll see. This is the Stranahan. We're not going to go through all the history and all that kind of stuff. We're just going to taste it. That was a pretty big pour. I probably didn't need one that big. Okay. All right, so first the nose. Some of that alkaline is there, astringent. It takes me a minute to get some words sometimes. It's kind of astringent on the nose. Definitely's got a fruit overtone, though. Almost type of berry, like a raspberry or even a strawberry of some sort. I'm getting some salted caramel. For a single malt, I mean, the Bear Fight is a single malt, but it is in peated casks. This one is not. But 100% malted barley. So, a little different product. This is probably a little more honest in that it's not a peated barrel. I don't know if that's the word I wanted to use, as honest. All right, here we go. Buttery. It's got a really buttery flavor to it. Maybe a slight hint of bubble gum on the finish. Strange note. I actually almost taste the sweetness of corn, but of course there's no corn in it. 100% malted barley. It's a single malt. That's it. That was strange, the bubble gum. Let's hit it one more time because I've got so much. The rest of the pours won't be this big, I promise. I stand by what I said. It's got a sweetness to it. I'm not catching as much, maybe a little lemon. Not as much fruit on the palate as I did on the nose, but there is a little lemon back in there. The finish is still presenting as a type of bubble gum. It's very sweet finish. Not a bad pour, actually. We're not going to do ice. We're not going to do water. Just plain and simple what it is. Caramel still really, salted caramel, really coming through. I don't know that I like it better than when I first tried it, but I do not dislike it. It's different. It's like nothing else out there. There's nothing else that I've ever tasted that tastes like this Stranahan's. And I know there's other types of Stranahan's. As a matter of fact, I got another one over there. This is the original, and this is the one that we tried before, so I promised to come back to some of these here on Groundhog's Day, so that's what I'm doing. Is it Groundhog's Day or Groundhog Day? I think it's Groundhog Day, although there are many groundhogs. I mean, Puxatawny Phil is the one that's best known, but, you know, we have Buckeye Chuck. How many other states have their own? And how many other states does it matter because maybe they don't have winter like we do? Deep thoughts for the Bourbcast. All right. So anyway, yeah. Not bad. Not bad. All right, so the next one we hit up. Yeah, let's go to this one. This is, now, I can't go straight to it. Matter of fact, I brought a little water down. Cleanse my palate with a little bit of water and a little bit of chocolate. This isn't really one that I would normally cleanse my palate with because it's not really kind of chocolatey enough. But it's 72% cacao. Cacao. Now watch me taste chocolate on this. Am I talking with my mouth full? All right. Smaller pour. I've got to get up in a few hours. This is the High West whiskey. This is the American Prairie Bourbon. Blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. This one is also up there, 49.6% alcohol, which is almost 100 proof. You do the math. We're real close. Sometimes it's okay to round up. I even do it in the checkout sometimes when I know my extra change is going to something important, like wildlife conservation or St. Jude's or something like that. All right, let's do another swig of water since I had that chocolate. All right. Now I want to, if I remember right, this one was in a, is this a peated barrel? I'll find out. No. Yes, it is. How's that from memory? Let's see. So it finished for 8 months in a peated whiskey barrel. I'm not going to read all this because it's really small, but it aged for a while in, you know, like a regular American oak, white oak barrel, and then it was finished in a peated whiskey barrel. Probably when we got back from Scotland. You know, we send Scotland a lot of our barrels, and they age, excuse me, their Scotch in our whiskey barrels, and then we send them back, or we get them back to do this kind of thing, and the bear fight. So, yeah. All right. So this is the High West. Not picking up any peat on the nose. This has been open for some time. Maybe just, no. I'm getting some of the oak from the barrel, but I don't think it's that peated scent. Some cinnamon in there. Some dates. Maybe some anise or anise. Anise. That could be the result of that peated barrel. All right, give it a try. Smaller try than the last time. I got to get up in a few hours. Can I? Will I? We'll see. It's alarm clock roulette. I actually have alarm panic. If I know I got to set an alarm, I will wake up every 15 minutes all night long. I won't sleep worth a gosh darn. All right, here we go. boy, did that mellow out. Holy cow. I remember this being peat heavy and just punch you in the face with the smoke, and not now. Boy, wow. That got sweeter. It tamed itself down. Wow, that's really, really good. I remember just now. Now you saw how long that took. Right then, when I changed my demeanor, that's when I got some of that peat. Just then. And it's delicious. It's a great finish. Oh my goodness. It stuck the landing, so to speak. That is really, really nice. It's been months since this bottle's been opened. I tried it for the Bourbcast, and I don't think I've had maybe one or two out of there since then. I don't know. I normally go through about that much. That smoke is still in there. You normally go through about that much in a Bourbcast. Yeah, I haven't had much of it. But boy, has that changed. That is just really, really nice. Now that I've had it on the finish, I'm getting some peat on the second dram across my palate. It's very nice. It's still much more leveled out than it was when I first opened it. This is a delicious, delicious bottle. If I find another one of these, I'm grabbing them. This is fantastic. Very, very nice. This is the High West Whiskey American Prairie Bourbon. Rested for, 8 months? In peated whiskey barrels from Scotland. This is really, really nice. So, okay. That's 2. We have 2 to go. Time to do a little swishy swish. I use these bottles because I can reuse them. I put them in the dishwasher and they don't warp or melt or anything. And it keeps me from using bottled water. I've got a refrigerator that has the filtered water that comes out. So I just refill those over and over and over again. Boy, that peat is heavy on the finish. It's got a long finish. I'm still getting that peat. I really like it. I like Scotch, though. So if you don't like peated bourbons or you don't like Scotches, I did let some friends try this, and they didn't like it. But that was back when it was first opened. That's why it had less of it in it. I didn't drink it. They did. They didn't like it. I wonder if they would like it now, because that's just changed so much. Ow. You can't go wrong with chocolate. Chocolate makes most everybody happy. There are some people that don't like chocolate. Don't shun them. It's not their fault. Okay. A little bit of water. I don't know where I got so sloppy, but the next one is going to be this one. This is the Middle West Spirits Straight Rye Whiskey. This is the Pumpernickel Rye. This was a special release, a barrel pick by the Maumee Valley Whiskey Society. The first time I tried this was just a little shot, little gulp, in a bar in Toledo. They had it for members of the Whiskey Society. So, I liked it. I bought 2 bottles of it. And then when I tried it, I don't know, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, something like that, really, really enjoyed it. I even made a smoked old-fashioned with it, which was just divine. Perfect. My methods of getting the smoked old-fashioned were a little bit messy. You might want to go back and watch me fumble. But ultimately, we got it done, and it tasted very, very good. So, now I'm going to try this one again after it's set for a couple of months and see what I think of it. The taste that I got at the restaurant when I first got it, it reminded me of coffee and leather and maybe a little bit of chocolate. I'm still getting some of the chocolate that I had on my palate. Let me cleanse one more time. All right. That ought to do it. Very sweet nose. Kind of a, not a toffee, but a darker caramel than I'm getting. Some honey on it, because there's a sweetness to it. I don't know that it's necessarily honey. It could be molasses, but honey is sweeter than molasses, but molasses is darker than honey. Maybe mix them together. Maybe that's what I'm looking at doing. A little bit of an orange peel in there. You know, maybe it's not honey. Maybe it's honeycomb. That would be a nice mesh of the molasses and the honey together. All right. Really nice slow bloom. It's there. This is a higher proof than the other ones. So my palate was not quite primed for this one, but it was primed. This is 125.96 proof. It doesn't drink like 125.96 proof. It just doesn't. Very smooth, great mouthfeel, great flavors. Now, maybe it's an influence of the chocolate, but I'm getting some chocolate notes out of it. I don't get the coffee like I got at the bar. I'm not picking that up. Trying to see if I can find anything in the finish that's noteworthy, and it doesn't have the longest finish. Not like that peat. That peated one had a long finish. It was here for a while. I mean, that was send them a postcard and get one back type of time. And the first time you forgot the stamp. That's a long finish. This one, not as long. Even for the higher proof. Some of those tobacco notes came back. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice pour. Golly, that's good. That's nice. That's nice. That's a really nice pour. The Maumee Valley Whiskey Society did a great job of picking this one. This is really, really good. I still need to get to this distillery and try some of the things they've got. I did pick up one of their wheated bourbons, so I'll be trying that sometime in the future. But this one just is really a nice standout. Really tasty. Tobacco, dark caramel, maybe some chocolate notes. Just really a nice pour. And I definitely like it better than the first time I ever tried it. I don't know that it transformed that much. And who knows, maybe I've transformed. You never know. All right, so the last one is one that I visited a while ago, and I'm a little afraid to go back to it. Stagg Jr. I remember this as being stupid hot. Let's give it the same respect, though, that we gave the others. Wash out my glass a little bit. I think there's something wrong with my top. I wonder if it finally warped. All right. Little chocolat. Just a little bit. This one is 128.4 proof. This is the highest proof of the night. And I remember the first time I tried this, I was so taken aback by how hot it was that there was nothing I could do to proof it down. I added a milliliter of water, it wasn't enough. I added, I think, another, if I remember right, another milliliter of water, and it was still hot. This was just a very, very hot pour for me. This one, by the way, I know people keep track of Stagg. This does not seem to have a batch number on it. This is when it was still Stagg Junior. I want to say this was... I want to say it was batch 19. It was maybe a fourth quarter 2018 release. Possibly 2017. That might have even been 2019. That doesn't sound right, but it's possible. It could have been. It might have been a 2019 release because it's been 3.5 years. What the hell? 2019 was 3 years ago. 4 years ago. 3.5. Gosh. What the? God. Young people watching this are going, yeah, so? Old people are watching going, yeah. Click. Gone. Cheapers. Yeah, the ethanol is still heavy on this one. I'd like to think that if it sat in the barrel or in the bottle for 3.5 months or years, that maybe it's mellowed out a little more drinkable. I've shared this a few times. I didn't drink all that myself, but still, I mean, that's all it's been out of this for, 3.5 years. Not only because I don't want to drink it, but also because, it's super hot. I'm a little afraid of it. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you. At least it was last time. All right. Cinnamons are heavy on the nose. Some clove. I'm looking for caramel, but I'm not finding it really. It's the cinnamons that are just kind of overwhelming everything. There's a slight lemon citrus on it. All right. I know, I'm being stupid. I know that. I'm being dumb. I just remember. Now, this is years ago. I've got some experience drinking. Okay, just do it. Just shut up and do it. I don't know why you were also afraid. You were just being silly. The bloom on that is very slow. Now, had I not had 3 other pours before this, I might have had a different experience out of it. But the bloom on this was slow. Nice mouthfeel. Very nice mouthfeel. Okay. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm a little surprised that I'm not picking pieces of my head up off the floor. Because 3 years ago when I tried this, or whenever it was, I want to say I bought it in 2019. I think we tried it in 2020 or 2021. And I was still young in the bourbon journey, and I love how we call it that, the bourbon journey. Like it's a destination. That wasn't that bad. I've had pretty hot pours since then, and although this right here is numb. Yeah, that's funny. Really quite good. Very nice, well balanced. Yeah, the proof is up there, but golly, that's got some really nice caramels on the palate, some nice vanillas, some nice cinnamons. Everything that you would expect out of your favorite bourbons is there, all of it there. A nice oak, really a nice oak flavor. Once you're over that proof, once you get past that, it's really, really nice pour. And this is set for a while. I haven't touched it. So for me to come back to it now and enjoy it like I am, says experience with higher proofs, time on the shelf, and a really great recipe to begin with. Now I'm numb on both sides. Yeah, really good. This has been fun. This has been fun going back and revisiting some of those that we poured before. Yeah. These are all good. The Stranahans is still just a little bit bizarre, but it's a single malt, and if you're not used to single malts, then it's going to just taste different to you. It's not a bourbon. You know, it doesn't have the mash bill of a bourbon. It doesn't have the same expectations of a bourbon. This is a single malt, just, that's it. That's it. So it's going to taste different, and it's tasty for what it is. This is not one I'm going to drink a lot of. I don't love it, but I'll drink it, and if somebody wants to try it, here it is. This one surprised me with how delicious it is. Had a very, very long finish, and just very, very pleasant. But again, if you don't like peated whiskeys, or if you don't like Scotch at all, this is not for you. For me, this mellowed out a lot, and the only place where I really got peach is on the finish, which carried through the next drink. So, then the Middle West, of the four, this is the one I'm going to have the most trouble staying out of, because I really like this, and it's limited. This was a special barrel pick, and you know, you get what you get, and then that's gone. I'm happy I have another bottle of it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go through this one. So it's very nice. Again, Maumee Valley Whiskey Society did a great pick on this, and it's a great whiskey. If you go to Middle West Spirits in Columbus, ask for this. They won't have this specific barrel, but you're going to want to find, they have this in a lower proof too, by the way. So you're going to want to see if they have it in the barrel proof. If they have it in the barrel proof, buy it. If they don't have it in the barrel proof, buy it anyway. It's delicious. It's very, very good. And I am really curious as to what this will taste like in a lower proof. If it's just as good, or if the proof gives it the complexity that it really needs. I don't know yet. We'll find that out. I will be exploring that this year. And then, of course, the Stagg Junior, which, you know, it's just delicious. It's really, really good. It's probably one of the hottest offerings that Buffalo Trace puts out. I've had George T. Stagg. I've had the Thomas Handy. Those are up there as far as proof goes, but they've got the aging on their side. They're longer aged, so the proof mellows out over time. This one is shorter aged, and that high proof tends to knock on the door a little bit. But over time, this one has mellowed out, and over experience with higher proof whiskeys, it's mellowed out for me, and I was able to get some of the flavors out of it, and I really, really enjoyed it. Last time, I wasn't able to enjoy it. This time, much, much better. I hope I can stay out of this bottle too. So next week, I think next week, I gotta find it. Hold on. This is a sample that was given to me, and I could be absolutely incorrect. Okay, come on. Here it is. I think next week, when we come back from our little time away, I think this is what I have on deck. I think it's the Evan Williams 1783. This is a sample that was given to me. I've never bought the 1783. I've heard good things about it. This is a lower proof. I don't even know if it's written on here. It's not. I will do the research on this and find out what it is, and this may not even be what it's going to be, but I think it's going to be what it's going to be. So we'll come back on February 9th at 7 o'clock, and we'll do Evan Williams 1783. All right? So thank you for checking us out, and thanks for being patient with my pre-record. Sorry I wasn't able to be with you and chat with you and be interactive and all that stuff, but we'll do that again next week right here on Beautiful Bourbon. See ya.